Hello everyone. These days lots of people are posting videos. They've got extra time on their hands during our quarantine. So I thought I would jump on the bandwagon and be a little vulnerable as well. Um, just wanted to discuss a perceived problem that I've noticed over the years and other people have too. And the topic is church and Christians. A lot of people perceive Christians as arrogant and hypocritical. I've talked to people and they've said, well, I don't have a suit, so I can't go to church, or if I walked into the church, it would burn down, different stuff like that. And I've watched a lot of videos as well of other people who have interviewed people, and in a large part of the population, there's a bad reputation when it comes to church. And I think a lot of that is rightly perceived. But not to belabor the point of the problem, because we could sit here and talk about the problem, and also just to say there's lots of really good, healthy churches out there. So I'm not trying to slam church or anything. I'm just trying to realistically say, hey, there's a problem here. There's a lot of what we see in church that we just don't see in the Bible. So I think there's one thing that we could talk about that would really bring resolution to a lot of this if people would just get this one point. And that's this, that Christianity is intensely personal. So maybe you have approached Christianity from a philosophical point of view, trying to figure out the answers of life, or intellectually saying, well, why so much suffering? Why did this happen in my life? Or why this or why that? Or maybe just to become a better person. Well, Christianity is not primarily about becoming a better person. It's not an intellectual or philosophical belief system. It's intensely personal. Now, yes, you will become a better person. That's a side effect of Christianity, and there's a lot of intellect that goes into it as well, and philosophy, but those are all sideline issues. And since God is personal, he will not answer any of those questions until you come to him personally. So if you've wrestled with questions over and over and you beat your head against the wall and you finally say, I give up, I'm not going to have anything to do with God or church, perhaps you're approaching Christianity in the wrong way. So when it comes, let me just give an example here. When it comes to relationships, say there's a guy and he wants to date a girl, and he's really into sports and she's really into reading. She reads a lot, literature, stuff like that. So if he were to approach her and say, okay, I really want to get to know you, and he gave her a whole bunch of sports magazines and said, this is the way we're going to get to know each other, how would that go over? Probably not too well. Or if you wanted to make friends with somebody and they said, well, maybe we can go out for coffee, and you say, no, I want you to come over to my house this weekend or something like that. Well, we understand that those approaches don't work, because friendships or any relationships happen as you're led into that person's heart from the inside, from their point of view. So the same is true with God. God is personal. We are led in from the inside out. And that's why Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life, because the point is to have a relationship with God the Father through Jesus Christ. And he is a person. He's obviously more than a person. He's God, but he's given us relationships in this world as examples so that we can see how he is. What we are in small, he is in big. Not the very best way to put that, but because we're made in his image. So we can see things in ourselves and say, well, that's true about God because we're made in his image. So we are relational. He's relational. And he says, this is who I am. If you want relationship with me, you have to come to me on my terms. And so relationship with the Father comes through Jesus Christ, and that's the only way. And a lot of people have a problem with that. That's kind of another topic, because that brings in other belief systems and other religions. And that's another part of the problem too. A lot of Christians have kind of bashed other belief systems and religions at times, and we don't do that. We love all people and we respect all people, but we also stand on what we believe to be true about God and what he says in the Bible, and that is that Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. So, I guess the question for everyone, whether you're an atheist or agnostic, or you're just mad at God because of what you've seen in the church and you don't want anything to do with him, or if you go to church and maybe you might be part of the problem, the question is, have you come to him personally? And in John 17:3, Jesus said, "This is eternal life, that you may know him and Jesus Christ whom you have sent." That you may know God the Father and Jesus Christ whom you have sent. So do you know him? And just to close, during this pandemic, I heard Pastor Paul Washer say that if we look for peace by trying to understand what God is doing, because a lot of people turn to God during times like this, during pandemic or a rough time in your life, and we try to understand what God is doing, and we look for peace in that. But we will not find peace in that. We will find peace as we come to know who he is through every storm and every issue and every difficult time in life. So that's the challenge. The challenge here, just come to him personally, get a Bible, go behind a closed door, read the Bible not to reflect on the problems of life or philosophically or intellectually or in any of these other ways, but personally, to see who God is. Don't stop and think too much. Read and see what his heart is towards humanity and what his heart is towards you. And that's how we get to know him, through that and through prayer, honest prayer, coming to him, being honest about the things we're frustrated about. Be honest with him about the arrogant Christians that you've met, the hypocritical things that you've seen in the church. Talk to him about it. Tell him that you're mad about it. There's lots of Psalms where people were really angry and they were talking and praying honestly with God, and that is okay. That's what he wants. He wants us to be ourselves. He is genuine, and he expects us to be genuine. So that's the challenge. Lay down whatever preconceived notions you have about Christianity. Come to him, pray, and I guess that's it. That's the challenge. Thank you for listening, and leave a comment. Bye-bye.